Welcome on this tutorial. We are going to study control statement in C programming. Different control statements are if, else, else if, combination of if, else, else if, while loop, for loop, etc. In this tutorial, we will learn about if and else if statement, their combinations with different programming exercise. Entering into the discussion, please subscribe. It will encourage me to create more tutorials for you. This is the flowchart for if statement as well as the syntax for if statement. For if statement, there must have some condition. While condition will be satisfied, then all the statements inside the if block will be executed. After the execution of all statements, the program will end. If the condition fails, then the program will come to the end. This syntax of if statement. If this condition is satisfied, the program will enter into if block and it will execute the statements inside the block. See in this diagram, if the condition is true, means condition is satisfied, then inside this block, whatever the codes are there, that those codes will be executed. Now if the condition is not true, means the condition is false, it will not enter into the if block. Whatever the instruction after the if block, those instructions will be executed. Now I am writing one program to explain if statement. We have to write a program which will ultimately identify whether number is negative or not. A condition should be here. If number is less than 0. So number is less than 0 means no doubt the number will be negative. So this will be satisfied if the number is negative. The program execution will enter into the if block and it will execute this instruction. What is this instruction? Here the instruction is printf the number. So when this instruction will be executed, the number will be printed at this place. At the output, ultimately we will find that is negative number. While the if block execution is over, it will come out from if block. Outside of this if block, there is another instruction here, printf I learned if statement. Now if the number is not negative, what will happen? This condition will not be satisfied. The execution will not enter into this if block. It will come out from this if block and this printf instruction is outside of this if block, so it will execute this instruction. To complete the program, say I want to put the value from keyboard. So to take the value from keyboard, scanf instruction is required. So this is the syntax of scanf instruction. Scanf inside double quote %d comma ampersand number. Here this number is the variable. So what will happen? When this instruction will be executed, if I put a value from keyboard, that value will be stored into the variable number. Ampersand number identifies the memory address. So the value which I will put from the keyboard, that will be stored in that memory location. While we use scanf function for getting any value from the keyboard, it is always better to use an visual indication on the screen, and for that case we may use this printf function. So while this printf function will be executed, this will display on the screen, that is enter an integer. Next, what I need, as this is the variable, we have to mention which type of variable is this. Here it is integer type variable. Now running the program to check it. This is same program here. I am running the program. See here, it is asking enter an integer. So I am entering say -10. See the output. This is the output. -10 is negative number. I learned if statement. Now if I enter a positive number, what will happen? When I will enter the positive number, this condition will not be satisfied, so program execution will not enter into this block. it will directly come out and it will execute this printf instruction. So if we enter positive value, I will get I learned if statement, checking it, running the program, entering the value, say now 10, which is a positive value, say here this is the output, I learned if statement. So we got the accurate result. Next, coming to if else statement. This is the flowchart of if else statement. Some condition will be there. If the condition will satisfy, means the condition will give true result or logic 1, then this statement will be executed and ultimately it will come to the end. If the condition will not be satisfied, means the condition will provide logic 0 result or false, then another statement will be executed and ultimately it will come out from the program. The syntax of this if else statement is here: if, next else. If have the block of statements, else will have the block of statements. If condition is satisfied, these instructions will be executed. If condition is not satisfied, the program execution will not enter into this block. It will directly come to the else statement, and inside the else block all the statements will be executed. Say we want to write a program to check whether a number is even or odd by using if else statement. Now first of all, I have to define the condition inside the if statement. Now what will be the condition? Here I have defined a condition in modulo operator 2 logical equal 0. Why I have defined this one? Because I want to find or I want to check even or odd number. Now all we know that if a number is divisible by 2, then no doubt that number is even number. If the number is not divisible by 2, then that number is odd number. So I have checked whether the number is divisible or not. If n modulo 2 will provide any value, means when we will divide that number by 2, if it will give any value as remainder, then no doubt that number is not divisible by 2 and that number is odd number. So n modulo 2 equal 0 means if the number is even, then no doubt n modulo 2 will provide a 0 as remainder. So in that case 0 equal 0, 0 and 0 are equal. No doubt this is true value. If the number is even, then this condition will provide logic 1 signal. Now if the number is odd number, this n modulo 2 that will provide a particular value as remainder. And in that case, that value, whether it is 1, 2 or whatever might be, that will not be equal to 0, so it will provide a logic 0 signal. So if the number is even, this will provide logic 1 signal. The program will enter into this block and it will say execute this instruction. What is instruction? Printf, and it will print number is even. So when this condition will be satisfied, then this if statement will be executed and else statement will not be executed. So it will directly come to out of this if else combination, and ultimately this is the free statement, which is printf number is whatever the number I have given or I will give, that number will be displayed here. So when the number is odd number, this will not be a logic 1 value, this will be a logic 0 or false value. So this if statement will be bypassed. The program execution will not enter into it. It will directly enter into the else statement, and in that case this printf will be executed, and after the else statement it will come out and it will execute this free statement, which is printf. Number is whatever the number we will put, that number will be displayed on the screen. Now running the program. Say this is same program. First I will put even number from the keyboard. Say I am giving number 12. Say the indication here, it shows number is even and the number which I have given from the keyboard, that is 12. Now again running, and I am giving another number, that is odd number. Now I am giving 15. Say the result is number is odd and the number which I have given from the keyboard, that is 15. So the program is working perfectly. Now what will happen if I somehow do not put these brackets in if and else statement? Say this same program, but no curly brackets are there for if block and else block. Now what will happen in this case? If we do not use any curly bracket, then the first statement after the if condition will be considered as statement inside the if block. Similarly, the first statement after the else will be considered inside the else block. So in this case, how this will execute? If the number is even, no doubt this if block will be executed. As this if statement is executed, the else will not be executed. Now after else, the first statement is inside the else block. So in this case, another second statement is there. This will not be considered as statement inside else. This instruction will be considered as free statement. So when if condition is satisfied, this instruction will be executed, else will not be executed. This will be considered as free statement, so this instruction will be executed. So if we run this program and if we put the even value, then we will get number is even and this instruction number is that. So running this program, I am putting the value as 12, even number. Say the number is even and number is 12. Now I am explaining same phenomena, means without any curly brackets in if and else statement, with very simple example. Say in this case, if 2, here I have given condition as just a integer. We should know that any positive or negative integer will give true value or logic 1. Only 0 indicates the false or logic 0 signal. I have given here if and inside this parenthesis it is true, so no doubt this will provide logic on signal. And after this, one statement is here, that is printf high. After this statement it is else. So if this is logic on, no doubt first instruction will be considered as the instruction inside the if block. So it will not execute the else instruction. Now here two instructions are there without any curly brackets. So the first instruction, that is printf sham, this will be considered inside the else block. As if is executed, this else will not be executed. After that, this is second instruction, this will be considered as free instruction. So here this is logic true, we will get hi dost. Now running the program. See, this is same program and running it. See what is the output here? We got the output hi dost. If we change this program like this, I am taking the last instruction here. Now what will happen? In this case, if 2 means this is logic 1, so execution will enter into this if block. Now as no brackets have been used here, so first instruction will be considered as statement inside if block. So this will be executed. Now what about this second printf instruction? After execution of this if block, the compiler will check is there any else or not. In this case, compiler will get no else instruction, but it will get printf dost. So this will be considered as free statement. So it will print hi dost. After that, the execution will come to else. When it will come to else, the compiler will get no if statement for this else. In every else statement, there must have a if statement. But for if statement, else statement is not mandatory. So in this case, features of this if statement has over, means this will be considered as free statement. After that, when this else statement will come, the compiler will find no if statement for this else. The compiler will provide error result. Now checking it, running the program. See here at the bottom, error else without a previous if, build failed, one error. For any if statement, else is optional, means else is not mandatory. But for every else statement, there must have if statement. Now what will happen in this case? I have just changed here. If at the condition place I have written 0. 0 gives false or logic 0 signal. So this condition is giving false, so if statement will not be executed. It will directly come to else. In this case, we have used no brackets, so the first instruction will be considered inside the else block. So first instruction will be executed, then the next one, this will be considered as free statement. So what we will get? We will get sham dost. Now running the program and see here the output is sham dost. Next, coming to if else if statement. These if else if statements are normally used for checking more than one condition. What are the syntax here? Say this if condition inside this code 1, else if condition 2 inside this code 2, next else code 3, and this code 4 is outside of if else combination. Similar example I have used here in these 3 blocks for the explanation. Say condition 1 is satisfied, what will happen? The execution will enter into the if block. After this execution, this will directly come out from if else or else blocks. This is outside the if else combination. This is the free statement that will be executed. Now next case, if condition 2 is satisfied, means 1 is not satisfied. So first program will check whether condition 1 is satisfied or not. It is not satisfied. Next it will check if else condition 2 whether this is satisfied or not. If this is satisfied, the execution will enter into the if else condition 2 block. It will execute the statements. Next it will directly come out all the else or else if combination after this. So this else block will be bypassed and ultimately this free statement will be executed. For the third case, say both conditions are not satisfied. So first condition not satisfied, so execution not entered into this. Second condition not satisfied, execution not entered into this block. So ultimately the else block will be executed, and after this else block execution, the last statement will be executed. Now explaining if else if combination with the program. Say we want to compare two numbers, whether the two numbers are equal, or whether first number is greater than second number, or whether the first number is less than second number. Two conditions I have used here: whether the first number and second number are equal, this is relational operator. If first number and second number are equal, then this condition will provide logic 1 signal and it will execute the instruction inside this if statement, and here it will provide first number is equal to second number. Next condition, if the first number is greater than second number, and this condition I have kept here inside else if instruction. If the first number is higher than the second number, it will execute inside this else if block and it will print first number greater than second number. If both conditions are not satisfied, then automatically it will come to else block, and inside this I have used printf instruction and it will print the first number is less than second number. So if this condition is satisfied, then it will come here. After execution of this, it will directly come out. If first not satisfied, it will check the else if instruction. If this is satisfied, then it will execute this one and directly come out from the else if combination. If first two are not satisfied, automatically else instruction will be executed. So I am running the program. Here it is asking to enter two number. Say I am giving two equal number 10 and 10. See here the result is 10 equal 10. Now again I am running. I am putting 15 and 10. So while I will put 15 and 10, this will not be satisfied, but if I put 15 and 10, 15 will be higher than the 10, so this one will be satisfied. So it will print 15 greater than 10. Now say the result 15 greater than 10. Next one is nested if else statement. Nested if else statement means inside if or inside else there might have another if else statement. Say for example, this is the if statement. Inside these two curly brackets, this consists of another if statement. In this case, this is if statement. Inside this if statement, another if and else statements are there. Here this if statement, only a single statement is there, but inside this else block another if statement is there. Here this is if statement and corresponding else. Inside this if, again another combination of if else are there. Inside this else, another combination of if else are there. So as per our requirement, we may use different if and else statements inside any if and else statement. So this is normally termed as nested if else statement. Now I am explaining the nested if else statement with the same example. The two numbers I will put from the keyboard and I will check whether the numbers are equal or the first number is greater than the second number or the first number is less than second number. But here in this case I will use if else nested situation. See here, this is if and this is else. Now inside this if statement I have used another if else. So what is the logic I have used here? Say first one, if the number 1 is greater or is equal to number 2, if this is satisfied, the execution will enter here. Inside this again I have used another condition. If the number 1 is greater than number 2, then print first number greater than second number. If this is not satisfied, then execution will enter into the else statement. What is this? Here it was greater or equal, but in this case if not greater, no doubt that will be equal. So when this condition will not be satisfied, it will come here and ultimately it will print first number equal to second number. If the number 1 is not greater or equal, no doubt the first number is smaller than second number. So this is not satisfied, it will directly come to else statement, and directly it will print the first number is less than second number. Running the program, I am giving first number 20 and second number 10. See the result, 20 greater than 10. So the program is running perfectly. Put different values yourself and check. So we have learned elaborately about if statement, else statement, else if statement, and combination of these statements with different examples also. One point I want to mention again, for if statement, else statement is not mandatory, but for every else statement there must have if statement. Next point I want to mention, if we do not use any curly brackets for if and else statement, then after if or else the first statement will be considered as the statement inside the if block or else block. Please subscribe, put your comments and queries in comment section.